Hey guys, Chris here back from C&H Mowers. Got another quick video here for you guys. We had a earlier generation machinery this past week here. The guy dropped it off here on Monday, and this is one of the first generation machines that was actually had a Chinese sourced engine on here. This is a Cub Cadet machine here. This machine was produced back in 2006. This is the Cub Cadet overhead valve 173 cc, 6.75 feet-pound torque. This one has one of the early first generation Chinese sourced engines, as opposed to having the typical Briggs or Tecumseh engine on right here specifically for that. If you want the information on the machine here specifically for that, you have to look on the identification tag they have on these machines here. They have various identification tags to figure out which year it was actually produced in. I'll give you a shot of this one right here. We'll give you a shot of the first tag right here. It's the model number here specifically for that. Here you go. Let me zoom in here and so you get a better shot of that. There's your model numbers tag and serial number tag right there, 11A 18MC056. And I'll find the identification tag here for you for the engine here specifically. Let me get the thing out here. I gotta verify where it is on here again. Here we go. Okay, we find it. Okay, your identification tag here for the engine on here specifically is on the right hand side next to the dipstick over here, guys. So if you're looking for the identification tag for the engine's specifics, it should be on the right hand side next to the dipstick. Your dipstick's right here, coming straight down over the right hand side, and your it'd be like a little bit larger than a typical square right here. It'll be a white identification tag. You have a lot number, and you have a barcode, and you'll have the model number right here is for the engine as well too. And it'll say made in China down here. Let me see, zoom in on this one here specifically for you. This one has all the information specifically about the date of manufacture. There you go. Date of manufacture 2006, December 2006. 10W30 oil, spark plug gap, and all that stuff like that. Made in China engine right here for that. So this is one of the early first generation machines they actually produced that has a Chinese sourced engine on them. Me personally, guys, I personally do not recommend this machine simply because we had numerous ones like this over here since like I think 2008. When we first started doing this out there. That's they're not worth repairing, guys. One of the biggest problems is they have hard starting all the time. The parts on the earlier machines, unfortunately, they cost a lot more than your typical parts on the later models out there for that, and that's one of the reasons why I personally do not recommend this style of machine. So if you're in a market for a good used machine, I would definitely steer clear of this type of machine right here specifically for that, because they didn't get done perfecting them out there yet, and I personally do not recommend them, guys. That's my straight up honest opinion right there for that. I just don't like them. I don't like ordering parts for them, and anytime we have to look up parts for them, 9 times out of 10 the parts cost a lot more than your typical new generation machines out there for that. That has like a Chinese engine from like a newer MTD model out there, or Toro or Lawn Bowler or something else out there. These ones are first generation models. And whenever my friend used to work at another local dealership, he worked at a Cub Cadet dealership, Cub Cadet MTD dealership. He was telling me when they first started to ship these machines over from China, they had the engine. They had to replace the entire engine because they had no parts for the machine whatsoever. So if you had a problem with the recoil unit, you had to order a whole new engine. You had a problem with the carb, you had to order a whole new engine. You had a problem with the cylinder head or something on it, you had to order a whole new engine. And he said they took like months to get in because they did not have the supply in the United States. The only supply they had in the United States was for when the engine was actually being produced. It was being produced in China, then shipped over. Then they had the supply of the whole entire machines in the United States because they had to put the engine on the deck and stuff like that. So that's the only time they actually had the supply of the engine in the United States. They didn't have a warehouse full of individual parts for the whole entire machine, like for your recoil unit, your carb, your ignition coil, cylinder head, crankshaft gasket, stuff like that. They didn't have a correct supply in the United States for all those parts you need for any kind of support of your machine. Because if you have a lawnmower like this and it's a brand new machine out there, you have to have backup parts inventory for a job, because more than likely somebody's always going to have a problem with the machine, and you have to have all the normal parts, you know, any kind of wear parts out there for that, like your cables, your wheels, your you know, your gas tank up there, your recoil unit carb, because probably the biggest problem in most of these machines out there is the carb. People are always putting bad gas in their machine out there for that, and you're always going to have a carb problem at least you know, at least once a month, or at least you know, once a week out there, depending on the severity of people in your area who you know put bad gas in their machine out there for that. So I just want to touch base with one of the older first gen machines out there we see on occasion out there, because these things, this is a 2006, so it's basically about 14 years old right there for that, and it's a one. The guy even still had this machine at his house, and he was actually using it. He was claiming the machine would not you know, stay running. It kept on dying out and bogging out on him, and he even screwed up the air box on here as well too. The air box, here's the air box cover right here. Air filter is totally scrap on here. Got the thing cut off. It's just all cut up on the whole side on here. It looks like the original air filter in here. It just looks like total junk. So it's all screwed up on the top right here. Plus the air box cover itself is totally cracked off. You can see right here. It's all totally worn off. It looks like somebody just broke it off. Then down on the air box, it looks like somebody put some zip ties on to you know, hold the air box cover on. And it looks like the air box itself inside has been ingesting a bit of outside unfiltered air as well too, because the air filter was not sealing correctly, and also the air box was not sealing correctly as well too. And it just you know, just sucking all that debris, because you cannot have an engine sucking any kind of outside debris for any length of time. It's going to damage the engine. It's basically got a dusted engine, because if you suck any kind of unfiltered air into your engine in form of dust, sand, particulates, any kind of, you know, debris out in your yard. I had a guy a few years ago, probably back in 2010. We went up to his house to pick up his lawnmower, and he kept on claiming the machine wouldn't start, and kept on you know, taking ether to start, and it eventually started over there. The problem was the guy had no air filter on his machine, and his entire yard was he had a lot of you know, dusty, dirty areas in there, and what was going on was he was sucking all kind of you know, dust into the engine. And because of that, when we did our evaluation, we took the cylinder head off the machine, and he had nothing but scoring down inside the cylinder bore. The oil was totally coal black. The PCV line was having a excessive amount of gas being blown directly into the intake manifold, or into the intake air box as well too. So you have to maintain your machines, guys. That's one of the biggest thing out there like this, that you have to keep your air box clean and secure on there for that. And I just want to touch base about that one specific fact on this machine as well too. So that's what we found out when you did a first initial, you know, check over of this machine here for that. So that's everything about this machine here, guys. If anybody has any comments, questions, whatnot, this has been a you know, quick video detailing the Cub Cadet machine here we have here from yesterday. It's the first generation Cub Cadet. They actually shipped over from China back in '06. That has the first generation Chinese sourced engine. You can always tell it's a Chinese engine because it does not have any kind of markings on it. All it says is overhead valve. It says Cub Cadet overhead valve, and that's a dead giveaway for it's basically double speak for Chinese sourced engine under for that. So if anybody has any comments, questions, whatnot, feel free to drop me a message here, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible with some kind of basic troubleshooting help. I'll see you guys. Have a nice day.